Hey everyone, Happy New Year, Happy 2022. This is Direct Joy. My name is Cherie and I am a psychotherapist, psychologist, psychotherapeutic counsellor. I am a mum, I am a fiance, I am a Christian, I am a complete animal lover and earth lover, an ecotherapist. Oh yeah, the things that I do, right? And Direct Joy is coming to you free as a live stream and a replay, available on all my social networks and email. Subscribe to cjoy.co.uk. And yeah, we've got the cat with us today. Direct Joy is about bringing emotional, mental well-being, psychology input, therapy input, counselling input into the world for free. I worked for the NHS and the prison service for a really long time, and all of what I was noticing that it was quite hard to access emotional and psychological support. There is an enormous amount that we can thank the NHS for, and our GP surgeries and our nurse practitioners, and it's such a rich place to work in and to experience, but resources are really restricted. And part of me coming up with this last March, was the idea of actually what can we make more accessible to people. Hello to everyone who's live. What can we make more accessible to people? What kind of information? And Direct Joy is based on the idea that you have a question or a musing or a discussion, and you send it through to me, and I give my viewpoint from my trainings and my experience, my clinical, professional and personal experience. I am a combination of a rebel and a geek, and so therefore I love to throw open the idea both in a research and academic way and in a clinical and professional way, but also in a what's going on in society, what's going on in the world, what's going on with what we teach our children and what we teach ourselves and what we immerse ourselves in, and just opening those questions up and saying, WTF? And I think in a really kind way, without judgment, without prejudice. So that's what Direct Joy is about. Wow, I think the introduction is taking me a bit longer than I expected most times. We haven't been online recently because of the Christmas break, because of COVID going in the world and affecting so many of us. Usually as therapists we see a very quiet January, but that's not so much the case at the moment. So but I'm back on track. I'm back to my structure and my routine, as much as I always am. I'm also caffeine free, so I've got a huge amount of energy, but also a banging head of detoxing. So wishing you well with how you're navigating your January. It seems deep at the moment. It seems like there's a lot of deep stuff going on. There's a lot of how we're navigating the world, and it's kind of feeling a little bit kind of tornado-y to me, that sense of what's going on down the bottom, but also this huge swirl of the top, of who we are and what we're processing and digesting. And so today's Direct Joy is very much about discussing navigation. How do we navigate the world? And instantaneously, when I work with that in therapy, and especially early days in therapeutic work, when we're finding the way of being with each other, which changes as well as we go along through the processes of however long you engage in therapeutic work, we find that there is very much a noticeable potency in the words should and need. And I have an attunement to that when working, because actually, what should we do and whose need are we meeting? So take some time with that question, right? Or two questions. Take some time with that. Sit with that if you can. Journal it out. Write it out. Talk it through with the people that you talk stuff through with at whatever time you talk it through with them. Because what should we be doing, and what do we need to be doing? And when we take some time around those questions, when we notice how many shoulds we say in a day, I should be doing this, I need to do this, it's very different to, I would like to do this, I want to do this, I am considering, this idea came up and how would this be? And when we have that internal conversation with ourselves and then speak it with another, wow, it's a very, very interesting perspective change. Am I a yogi? I love yoga, let's put it that way. And going upside down is basically the one of the main purposes of that is to have a perspective shift. Oh, wow, don't we love that? Have you ever, kids hang upside down all the time in play, don't they? Have you done it? Have you done that recently? Now, physically, we aren't all able to do that. But there is this, so actually, one of my sisters will love this story. Because when I was heavily pregnant with my second, I needed to get the baby turned and I wanted to do it holistically through yoga. And part of helping the baby to move around and have more space is to hang off upside down off your sofa. Now, this is not yoga or postnatal or prenatal or natal advice, okay? I just really want to caveat that. This is just my experience. And I did that and it so helped me. Going upside down, even though I was 9 months pregnant, going upside down at any point, just hanging your head upside down, put your legs wide apart and hang your head and look between in the gap. It gives you a perspective change, and every perspective change is a miracle because literally it shows you, it enlightens something. And so what's it like to start navigating the world from an upside down position? Sounds bizarre, right? Sounds mad, in fact. But actually, I wonder whether we really start, I'm getting some lulls, I wonder if we should really start from that position when we awaken, rather than should and need. Because should and need, I don't know about you, but it instantly creates this grrr in my back teeth. It instantly has a stress. Who says should? Who says need? What? They? I want to know more. I want to dig deeper. I want to go upside down. I want a different perspective. Now, we don't always have time to do that. If you're mid-conversation with someone, you're not going to start doing a headstand, a handstand, or, putting your head upside down, because literally you would look mad and probably, be treated as such. But actually, what is that like to metaphorically do that? What would it really be like? And this is the kind of stuff that we do in therapy. This is the kind of stuff that we have the space to do in private therapy, is to play with the ideas of actually what would it be like for you? What would it be like to take that time, to take that space and really explore deeply what that's about? We find that right and wrong shows up so much in our lives, in our society, in our relationships, in our parenting styles, in our choices, in our finances. There is a minefield of fashion, food, health choices, parenting choices, money choices, job choices, food choices. It's endless. But actually, and it happens fast, right? Fast. It's like there's kind of instant, and I'm sure there's stuff in neuropsychology, like instant ins to here, and instant ins to here, and instant ins to what we type or what we read or what we're immersed in or what we share or what we do or what we invite. And actually, I want to take some space. It feels really important to just take some space and think about what would it be like if there was a place where I could explore time, where I could explore what I really would like, what I really would like to need, what I would really like my shoulds to be. What would it be like if your should was, I should and would like to sit down and give myself 5 minutes every day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. What would it be like to do that outside? What would it be like to be freer from those shoulds and those needs and turn them back onto what's right and wrong for you? It's an interesting perspective change because it becomes more about where you are coming from rather than what's coming in at you. One of the main things about anxiety and depression is that there's a lot coming in at us. It comes from all different angles in all which ways, and it really upsets every puzzle piece, literally to the point where we're flawed or we're super anxious and flawed. Anxiety and depression has an interesting relationship, and that's definitely one for us to pick up, because actually hearing what's coming in at us and knowing where we're coming from and what we're giving out and what we want to then be processing internally, that's where there's an interesting dissonance, there's an interesting space, and working with that is really, really important. There are different ways of working with it, as we've explored in previous Direct Joys, and I've got a blog kind of brewing about that, so expect that soon, because types of therapies and the way that we work and the specific way that's helpful for you is really, really important. It's why I say to people when they first start working with me, if you don't like the cut of my jib, if you don't like what you're hearing and you do think, wow, she's nuts, or not sure about her, then that's really important to be honest about, because actually, maybe some 8-week CBT is helpful for you. Maybe some flooding, maybe is helpful for you. Maybe some person-centered work, maybe some eco-psychotherapy, maybe. And I think that's the most important word when we think about navigating our right and wrong. Where's the maybe? I know my children always assume when I say maybe that it's a yes, because I'm a yes person. No one hears my no. Who hears your no? What's it like when people hear, even then I've just made an assumption. No one hears my no. But actually, they hear my maybe, and they hear my maybe as a yes. They hear my yes. So actually they do hear my no. That's a script that I've put on. That's a narrative that I've put on. That's an unconscious behaviour that I'm playing out because there's something that's happening for me. And I'm finding this out in this Direct Joy. What's it really like to navigate knowing your rights and wrongs? We watched a film when we were isolating in over the Christmas period called Click and Collect. And there is a scene in that, or quite a long scene, where the guy the navigator in the passenger seat advises the driver and they're on a long journey, okay? They're on a 4-hour journey on Christmas Eve. And they hit some traffic on the motorway, and he says, ignore the sat-nav. Just take this turning off. Ignore the sat-nav. And the sat-nav keeps saying, turn around, turn around, turn around. And he keeps saying, ignore the sat-nav, ignore the sat-nav. And actually, what's going on with your internal sat-nav? Where is your sat-nav going? Turn around, turn around. Where's your warning signs? And where also do you hear different sat-navs, the different voices? I love it when you get a sat-nav and you can try out the different voices. But it reminds me of all those different voices that I have. Those ones where it's like, oh, okay, I think I want to ignore that one, because actually I do want to go off-piste on this. I do want to explore the shadows of that. I do want to hear what I really, truly desire. I do want to take away the should turn around now, turn around at the next roundabout. It's like, no, because sometimes to break those familiar patterns, we need to go forward. Sometimes, like in the film, we find ourselves back on the same path, the same part of the motorway. But actually, That's part of the journey, right? And embracing that rather than beating ourselves up, rather than seeing the shame, rather than seeing the blame. What's that then like to have that place where I had that journey? I had that experience, and what did I learn from that? What can I then bring to the world? What is my gift to the world? And I think to find that place, we need to find the place where we can explore what that place is like for us. I'm saying place a million times, but what is it really like to let down the right and the wrong and notice the shoulds and the needs? Just put them down for a bit. Notice how many times you say each day, oh, I should do this, or I need to do this. And actually embrace a world where it becomes about you. It becomes about your divine right to be you, to make a choice. And sometimes that can be quite a hard message. Sometimes it can be a time to pull your socks up. Where's your structure? What are you doing with this choice? I remember I've just seen someone who's live, and I had an awesome experience with her in my younger days where I had been, I just started smoking cigarettes, and she called me aside and said, do you really want to do this? Soft voice, kind, considerate. Do you know the impact of this? Do you really know? Are you doing it because you feel you should, and because you need to, and because you've been in a tangle with something or other? Take some time and really think. I didn't actually think about it until 6 years later, maybe more. But when I did, that really informed being kind to myself and going through the process of no longer smoking tobacco. And I am so glad I did. So thank you. Thank you for showing me that kindness. And I hope that we will all take forward that kindness today, that kindness to ourselves, to acknowledge that there are so many rights and wrongs. Of course there are, right? We live in community, we live in society, we have relationships. There are right and wrongs. But actually, and there's truths of that. But the shoulds and the needs, navigating those to hear our internal voice, what's that like? So that's Direct Joy for today. We went deeper than I was expecting to, but I think that's really important because that's what we do in therapy too. We sometimes go deeper than we expect to. It's a challenging time. We're in challenging times as a society, internationally, nationally, in our families, in our schools. It is a challenging time, but there is space for joy. There is space for us to explore who we are and be who we are and find joy in that. So if you'd like to hear more from me, I am working behind the scenes with sign up to my mailing list basically. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and expect more Direct Joys. I hope next week. Please send me any feedback that you have. Please send me any questions that you have. It's lovely to see you all. Happy New Year. I hope that this is a wonderful time for you, wherever you're at, whether you're going through a challenging time of pulling your socks up, or whether you're going through, whatever you're going through, grief, loss, difficulties. I hope there is also lots of light shining through in which way the light does always find a path. So, lots of peace and joy to you today. This is Cherie on Direct Joy saying have a wonderful week, and I will see you all very soon.